You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 348, How to Stop Spiraling After Something Your Ex Did. Hello, beautiful brave heart. I hope you are doing well today and that I can provide some value and help you change your thoughts and feelings today with whatever it is that your ex did that sent you spiraling. I want to just give you a quick reminder that you are an amazing human being and whatever you did is totally okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this together, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to get back on track and make sure we show up differently next time, okay? So I actually just had a call with a client on Monday evening of this week, and she was really upset because on Friday, she had found out that her ex had unfollowed her on a very specific platform that they both used to use together, and it sent her spiraling. Now, we used a very specific 3-step process to unpack what happened, why she did what she did, and make sure that she showed up differently next time and feel good about herself, her past, and her future. And it was a really big win-win-win. So I thought it would be very helpful to share here, just in case you have experienced a situation like this that perhaps sent you spiraling and showing up in a way that leads you to feeling disappointed in yourself, right? So let's get started. I just want to give some context. This individual on Friday realized that her ex had unfollowed her on a platform they both used to communicate on, and she was super upset about it. It led to her spiraling, which to her, what spiraling meant was ruminating about the past, crying, asking her family if he had unfollowed them on these other platforms. She was super fixated on him and looking at all of the platforms to see what else he had unfollowed her on. And then also tying her worth to his actions. Now, she was upset with herself at the time that we were coaching. She was really upset with herself, feeling like she hadn't made enough progress. And for context, she was in week 5 of the Get Over Your Ex program. She's almost halfway through the 12-week program. So we started with step 1, which is get clear about what created the actions and the behaviors that she didn't like. Okay, so if she didn't like herself spiraling, where was the spiraling coming from? Why was she spiraling, right? And we know that feelings drive action. So we really needed to understand what was the feeling that made her show up that way and where did that feeling come from? What thought or story did her mind offer her that led to that feeling that then led to the behaviors she didn't like participating in? Now, we realized that she was feeling hurt and worthless. And when she saw that he unfollowed her from that platform, she told me, I felt really hurt by that and worthless. And so my question then became, why? Why do you feel hurt and worthless when this specific person unfollows you? And listen, I realize that question seems so obvious, of course we're going to feel hurt. But we need to know specifically for each person, why does it matter to you? Why does it hurt you? Because the act of being unfollowed on a platform doesn't always create hurt, right? There are hundreds of people unfollowing me on different social media platforms a day, and I don't feel a thing. Just like probably for her, someone else could unfollow her and she doesn't feel a thing. But why does it hurt from this specific person? What is she making it mean about her that makes her feel hurt? So the same question goes for you, right? What are you making it mean about you that's making you feel hurt by this action? Now, she mentioned 4 thoughts. She said it hurts because it means that he's not going to come back. It hurts because it means he doesn't care and it's easy for him, that this is just so easy for him. And she feels worthless because she feels like I wasn't worth it to him. So we can see that those stories, those thoughts about, he doesn't care, this is easy for him, I wasn't worth it to him, make her feel hurt. Of course, when we're thinking that, of course we feel hurt. And then, thinking that and feeling that way then lead to the participating in the behaviors that we don't like and we don't agree with for ourselves. And when we witness this and we become aware of those stories, feelings, and actions, we can see so clearly that they're like not working for us. It's not moving us in a direction we want to go in. It's not getting us to the place that we want to go. It's not moving us in the direction of who we want to be. And that leads us to step 2. So step 2 is all about, questioning these ideas themselves. So instead of trying to change behavior or action forcefully, I really like to change the story that's creating the behavior in the first place. And here's why. When we try to change a behavior or an action within ourselves without changing the story that creates it in the first place, it feels really hard to do. And it feels very effortful. It's like someone who's trying to run a marathon with the background story of, I'm never going to learn how to do this. They're going to have a completely different experience than someone who is trying to run a marathon with the background story of like, I'm going to figure this out. This is worth it. There's no way I'm not going to figure this out. The behaviors they might be the same behaviors, but one might be forcing the behavior of getting up at 5 a.m. and making themselves do it, while the other one is learning to love it because that's who they're becoming. So for her, the question became, is that really true that this is so easy for him? What do you actually think the experience looks like for him? Because I know personally, because I understand the background information of her situation, I know that she wasn't dating a bad guy. She was dating a really good guy. He wasn't emotionally or physically abusive. He wasn't lying. He was a decent human being. And when she answered this, she said that, yeah, honestly, he probably unfollowed her because it was really hard for him to see her. It's the complete opposite of what she had been telling herself. The real truth for her is that it probably isn't and wasn't that easy for him either. It's been just as difficult as it was for her. And he does care about her because he cares, he felt compelled to unfollow. It's probably a more accurate statement of what's happening. Now, with that understanding, we got to move on to step 3, which is complete an evaluation for the experience and create a protocol for how we're going to handle things next time. Okay. So the way that we do evaluations inside of the Get Over Your Ex program is we start with, what did I do well? So for her, what did she do well? And she mentioned to me 5 things. Number 1, I didn't reach out to him when I was spiraling. She mentioned that a month ago, she absolutely would have reached out to him, asked him why he unfollowed, be looking and searching for validation, all of that. So she didn't do any of that this time. Beautiful. This is huge. We love that, right? The second one is she called a friend. Third, she didn't spiral as long. About a month ago, she would have spiraled the whole weekend, whereas she felt like the spiraling pretty much ended on Friday. She then spent this is number 4, she spent the entire weekend doing fun things that she wanted to do instead of isolating like she would have before. And number 5, she was able to concentrate on work when she was there on Monday, whereas before she wouldn't have been able to do it. She might have even called in sick. So there were a lot of things that really went well that highlighted the progress that she had made in just 5 weeks. Then we were going to take a moment and we wanted to look at specifically, what did she not do well? What did I not do well in here? Because this is why we're feeling all the feelings about it. What did we not do well? She mentioned 2 things. She mentioned going to look if he was friends with her on other platforms and like searching other platforms, shared albums, things like that. And then number 2, calling her family aggressively and asking if he had unfollowed them there. Those were 2 things that she felt like she didn't do well and wanted to do differently next time. So we had to get clear about, what do we do differently next time, right? We have to take for each of those, what specifically do I want to do differently next time? And she gave some good starting points. At first she mentioned, I want to read a book instead, or I want to go for a walk instead, or I want to go to my classes or make myself a nice meal. Those sound great. I'm like, yes, I'm here. I'm on board with all of that. And we have to ask ourselves, in the moment when we are deep in a spiral, would those things really do it for me? Would they stop the spiral and me actually redirect and point my energy at those things? Give yourself an honest answer, because if not, we need to find something that will really work. And for her, she mentioned no. Like the only thing that might do it for her is the going for a walk. And so something I tell my clients about these like urges, or when we have intense desires to reach out to an ex or take an action from what these like urgent feelings create, is sometimes giving yourself permission to take the action is really helpful in not doing the action, which I know it sounds crazy and backwards. But many times when I guess what this looks like for her, I'll say what this looks like for her, is saying, hey, we can do these other things, like go look at the other platforms and go look at the shared albums. But first, we need to go for a walk. So if after my walk, if I still want to do those things, I give myself permission to do those things. And what I find is that many times you won't want to, after you've done the walk and the self-coaching, the things that you told yourself you have to do, the steps you have in between. Sometimes you do, but it helps you create space in that experience, which that space alone is so helpful and powerful. Now, her homework is to implement this protocol, and then we're going to evaluate how it went again. We can do this as many times as we need to until we get it right. So important. If you are someone who's had an incident with your ex, or like you witnessed your ex do something and it has left you spiraling out about that person or your breakup or your divorce, I want you to try this 3-step process. Number 1, what is the thought-feeling combination that is creating the behavior that you don't like? Number 2, question that thought or that story or idea that created the experience in the first place. And number 3, conduct an evaluation on your actions as a whole and create a protocol for next time. A protocol that works, that you can actually implement, okay? And if you're interested in deepening our work together, here's a couple of ways that we can do this, okay? Number 1, we have private coaching with me. This is if you don't like modules and homework and you just want me and you just want to meet with me once a week and complete everything together one-on-one. Now, if this is you, you can book a consult at lifecoachdorothy.com. The second option is the Get Over Your Ex program with coaching. So this is if you love coaching, you want my eyeballs on your specific situation, you'll still get coached by me. You love the value of community, and you want to learn how to build these skills yourself, these skill sets yourself to get over your ex and build a life that is bigger and better than the one that you had with your ex. If this is you, you can join us at dorothyabjohnson.com/getoveryourex. And lastly, we have the Get Over Your Ex self-paced course. So if you're a DIY girly and you want to take everything at your own pace, this is like the podcast but on steroids. So if this is you, you can get your self-paced version at dorothyabjohnson.com/getoveryourex course. All right. I love you, my Bravehearts, so much. I hope you have an epic, amazing, beautiful week, and I'll talk to you next time.